Okay, so it's our little sneak peek into coaching tonight, and I wanted to not just talk myself the whole time because truly it's not just me. My team is full of rock stars, and that's a big reason why we're all doing so well because it's a really supportive community here. I remember when I signed up, I was worried to work with a bunch of other women, especially like driven and, just kind of independent, hard chargers kind of women, because usually there's a lot of, catfighting that goes on when you've got a lot of strong women in a room, or at least, in a certain area. And I haven't found that to be the case yet with this business. It's like we're all kind of in this empowering, helping other people. So there's a lot of just in general support that goes on. You can reach out to other teams or to your upline or downline and learn from everyone. And that's something why I love this business so much. So I actually have 5 of my diamonds. I will have 7 as of tomorrow, which is super exciting. And so I'm Wendy Spencer. I will be a 7-star qualifying diamond coach tomorrow. And my girls have been on fire in the last 2 months. I think we've popped, 5 diamonds in the last 6 weeks. And so life is really good for this team. We are growing and thriving. And I just want to give them a chance to talk about really, I hear from so many people like, I can't do that because of XYZ. Like, I really like my job and I don't want to quit, or I really don't like my job and I don't have time, or, that stuff doesn't work. I can't do that. I've got, I'm full time with my kids. I don't have time to do that. I don't want to do that. I feel like there's so many excuses that people give versus saying, hey, this could really be something awesome. Like, I could help other people while getting in really good shape. And next thing you know, completely as a surprise to you, you're building a 6-figure income in less than 2 years. So for me, once my coaches get to diamond, I know they're on that track, that they can potentially make this a way to retire from their own job, retire from their husbands from their job, or just be able to live their life by design. Choose what they want to do, choose how they spend their time, choose where their kids go to school, choose to have absolutely no debt before 40, or whatever your goal is. It's your choice, and you can do that with this business. So sky's the limit. And I just want everyone to hear their story today. My story, I was living in population 75, very rural Wyoming, definitely not a mecca of people who couldn't wait to start working out and doing programs with me. But it's that will to help other people, and social media is amazing. You can really talk to anyone at any time of the day. I signed up to be a coach for the discount because I was doing T25 and liking it. And then I found out a week later I was pregnant with my 3rd child. So I basically started my business pregnant with 2 other kids. They were 1.5 and 3, just new 3. And just ran with it and loved it. And it became something that was like, oh, I just want to make enough money to pay for my Shakeology, to now something that we're dreaming really big. And, all of these other things that we just never really thought were going to happen before on one income, which, it's not like we were, destitute. My husband does, he does work really hard, and we were making it with one income, but it's so nice just to have that comfort and to start paying off debt and our mortgage and things like that. And so I've been a coach for 18 months now, and obviously my team is terrific, and I'm so excited to be surrounded by such women that are doing really great things with their lives, and I want them to tell you about it. So first off, with her story, one of my awesome coaches is Amy. So Amy, tell us a little bit about why you started, why you're loving this, kind of what your dream is. So go for it, all right?
Okay, hi everyone. So my story is a little we all have a unique story. I started out, I joined the 21 Day Fix Challenge group almost a year ago. It was last July, and I was a customer for months up until this past February. And finally, I was like, what am I doing? Why am I not getting the discount on the Shakeology? I need to be doing this. So I reached out, Wendy reached out to me, and it happened to be the same week I was thinking about it. And So I signed up to just for the discount, no other intentions of working the business or doing anything. And within a week of that, all of a sudden, people just started asking me about it, and I hadn't even really been talking about it. So I said, okay, maybe this will be fun. I'll try to be a hobby coach, and we'll go from there. And then within a month, I said, nope, this is it. I am going to go for this. And I have a little bit of a background. I got my health coach certification almost 3 years ago now, just as a supplement to my life, just as something I like to do because I had found out my daughter had a peanut allergy. I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, so it kind of just felt like the right thing to do. And the Beachbody opportunity has been there for me as a way to really marry those things together and really be able to help people. And that's really where I'm at right now. And I'm loving it. I love it. So my goal is to retire from my job. I am a benefits manager. I've worked in HR for 15 years, and I am hoping to be able to retire from that and spend some more time with my children who will be starting school in the fall and just being more available to them. Yeah.
That's awesome. So, I mean, do you feel like this, so you work full time? Do you work like 40 hours a week, would you say? I mean, are you on the 40-hour schedule? And
Definitely.
I know a lot of people are scared when they're working full time, like, how can I really fit in two jobs? I mean, and actually, three of my diamonds are full time working, coaches and moms. So, how has it worked for you and your schedule?
I'll say it's definitely a balancing act. However, I've noticed, my big thing, it's all over Facebook. We got rid of cable, and that has been the biggest change. I mean, I used to like sit down every night, 8 o'clock, my kids are in bed, I am watching TV. And I don't even have really the desire to do that anymore. I want to get on and work the business at night. And that's really what I'm doing. I'm getting up just a little bit earlier in the morning, but I enjoy it. I look forward to it. It doesn't feel like work.
And that's where it's fun. Like, that's when people are like, oh, two jobs. I'm like, no, you lay in bed at night, like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I can't wait to think about this or share what I'm doing. And that's why it makes it not feel like a job, but obviously you don't have a job, but you're making an income. It's pretty a pretty nice opportunity, right? So, well, so anything else? I mean, are you enjoying, like, what do you say with the best part of what you do? What do you enjoy the most?
I just I love getting those little messages from people when I don't necessarily go out like, I mean, I want to help everybody, but even today, someone who I just met through the business, I don't know this person from anyone. We've connected, and she's a customer now. And randomly today, out of the blue, she just tagged me on Facebook, like, Amy Rule, thank you so much. I got compliments on my like weight loss and change today, and like, it's you, girl. It's not me. It's you. And she's like, no, thank you, coach. It just feels really good.
It's nice. Yeah, well, that's awesome. And I think we all can attest to that. Like, on some days where you're like, is this worth it? Is it worth the extra time? Then all of a sudden, like, I have a customer who's lost almost 100 pounds, and it's everything. Like, her confidence, nonetheless, her health, but like her knees, her energy, everything about her feels better. And I didn't do anything besides just send her some messages and tell her she's awesome and really support her. But my gosh, she did it, and I got to be a part of that. Like, I get to be a part of changing someone's life. That's pretty exciting. So I totally agree with you. All righty. So let's see. Lauren, would you like to go next? Lauren Melendez?
Sure. My audio's been a little funny lately. I hope everybody can hear me okay.
You're good.
So basically, I started my own fitness journey in the end of 2010. I had my first daughter, and I had gained like 80 pounds with her because I was eating like pie like 4 times a week when I was pregnant. And let's just say I kind of expected the baby just to take it all, and that didn't really happen. So basically, it was the first time in my life that I was overweight. And I was really uncomfortable. I mean, physically, it was hard for me. But, also just emotionally and everything. Like it was just really weird. I used to really enjoy shopping, and then, you know, didn't anymore. I didn't even want to get dressed and go anywhere or be in pictures and things like that. And it's crazy how, you know, something that I guess it seems a little shallow maybe, but like your appearance, like it can actually affect, you know, your own confidence and everything. And I just decided I wanted to do better for myself, that I had the potential to, you know, really get where I wanted to be. My husband was getting into personal training at the time, so he was really working out and in shape and stuff, and that helped motivate me too. And I did want to be able to, you know, run around with my kids and do things. And so I just thought it'd be best for my health, so I started. So I did that for a while. I ended up working with a online personal trainer for some more guidance as far as nutrition and stuff. And then I really took off with that. And I just ended up getting really great results. I couldn't believe like how actually disciplined I was. Like I never thought I'd have like abs, and now I have abs. I'm like, whoa, like it's really crazy. But basically, as I continued to keep working on my outer self, it really changed my inner self. I feel like there's so many things in life that, you know, you can take shortcuts for and maybe even cheat to get somewhere. But this is like really one of the true things I feel like takes absolute integrity and hard work to achieve this. And I feel like it was one of the things in my life that it was the first time that I really, really had to work so hard for myself and do this for myself. So it does make you realize your own level of integrity and your own capabilities. And I started just to become more positive in general. I was just less stressed out. I mean, working out was a stress relief for me anyway, but the more confidence I gained and the better I felt physically, that started to happen emotionally and spiritually. And it really just changed me as a person altogether. And I think that that's one of the biggest things for me, that I want to show people, is that this isn't like, oh, get some muscles, you know, like it's not just about that. Like there's so many people that I feel like, you know, are stuck in their head, or I see are ridden with anxiety, and there's a lot of negativity in the world, period. And I think that, you know, this kind of opens up this whole new world to feeling like more positive in so many ways, that I think a lot of people can just feel a greater sense of happiness from it in general. So basically, once I was in shape and stuff, I actually, one of my friends that I worked with at a previous job, it had been a few years since I seen him, and he actually started working at my job now, and he was super overweight. Like I didn't even recognize him. And so we started, where I was like kind of putting him on a meal plan and having him work out and stuff. And he ended up like losing like 50 pounds or something, and he's doing really well. And I was like, wow, this is really cool, you know, to help somebody kind of do it. And he was like my little living proof of it. And I mean, I would love to like do something like career wise, but you know, I had a million excuses. I have 2 kids, I have a house, I work full time. I can't do that. I don't know if I'm good enough to do all that, you know, and to go back to school, and just a million things that are all excuses. And I believe we're all just kind of rooted in that fear that we all have of not being good enough, not being able to truly accomplish something, you know. But it's BS. It's just this little fear that's in our head, and it's totally fake. And as I began to learn that, you know, I really just kind of put it out there that, you know, I want to do something involved with this. And I was just feeling really unfulfilled at work. My job is okay, but it's pretty boring. And I just wanted something more. I'm tired of this. Let me make ends meet and get the bills paid, go work a schedule for someone else, not really have too much to show for it. You know, I just feel like there's so much more that can be done. So I decided to be really open and accept whatever gift coming from the universe. And sure enough, I get like an ad on Facebook. It reminds me of like Bruce Almighty or something, like God's like signs on there that it's like, hey, are you a fitness mom looking for an entrepreneur position? And I'm like, so basically I was like, all right, you know what? Normally I would totally ignore this ad and not pay any attention to it, be like, all right, this is some bullshit. It's Facebook, whatever. But I'm like, no, I'm going to message this woman. So I reached out to Wendy. And right away, we just started talking, and she started explaining what it is. And honestly, I had no idea what I was getting myself into or doing or anything. But the last thing I could bear to say was no when this was such an obvious gift. So I said yes, and I signed up like that night or something, and annoyed her with like 1,000,001 questions, and just really started working on it, and just put it out there that it was gonna go well. I decided that it was gonna go well, regardless of whatever. I wasn't gonna give in to the fears and what if people don't want to work with me and this and that. I just kept putting forth my best effort and made it to Diamond in, what was it, like 45 days or something, Wendy? I don't know. Something crazy like that. And I still don't even really comprehend any of this. I'm just doing it. I'm still like, whatever. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing it. So there are days that I do feel kind of overwhelmed. Obviously, we have a lot of responsibilities, as moms, and, we have full-time jobs, and a lot of it comes down to also, I just feel like I am inexperienced. I feel like I'm not so nifty with social media and things, and I have a lot to learn and a lot of different routes that I can try to take as far as through social media and online and different things I could do. But I've just kind of accepted that, we can't do everything, but we can do what we can, and it's better than nothing. And for me personally, there's really no going back at this point, because now that I've been introduced to it, and it is something I truly love and I'm truly passionate about, and I have all these people with these incredible stories, and they're changing their bodies, and just conversations, like when people are super doubting themselves and stuff, like, I think I'm going to quit or whatever. And I just like go on this big like rampage about how awesome they are, and this huge thing, and then they end up feeling good, and they're encouraged. And even if they don't lose a bunch of weight or get fit, like to see people just get encouraged like that and actually believe in themselves, even for like 5 minutes, it's just really awesome to be able to open that world up for somebody, like show them the truth, about that. So, I mean, I'm hoping that, eventually this just works, and I get to quit my job, and my husband gets to quit his job, and I get to drive this really awesome Tesla that I see on the street sometimes, and, and just go for it. And so, of course, I just talked for like 10 minutes, but yeah, that's me, guys. So, yeah.
That's you. And you touched on something that I think a lot of people get confused by. Like, how do you support all these people? You're not in person, you're not holding their hand, you're not slapping food out of the refrigerator, So, and what we do as coaches, our goal is to run these private groups where we, people who have bought a program or who have, basically signed up to say, hey, I trust you, be part of this with me. We run these private groups on Facebook or on social media. And, if you can make that group atmosphere, and, Lauren's really good about that. Her groups rock it. Like, she's super strict. She's all over people, but that's what, people sign up with her because they know that she's going to get results for them. And imagine if, you could do that. You can do that through social media and just through connecting with people. And it's still private, but it's still this big group setting. So you have the accountability, you have the motivation. And yeah, Lauren was like, from day one, she was like, I think it's a sign. Put it out in the universe. Here I go. And she has run full speed. And, like, learning through social media, those are things that we train you about. It's not like it's like, okay, you signed up, now good luck, go do your thing. Like, it's a very large community. We have over 500 coaches in a group where you can ask any questions. We run monthly trainings if you're pushing for certain things, or if you need trainings on other subjects. Like, all you have to do is ask. The bigger part is finding the time sometimes, because you're trying to support your customers, support your family. And then it's just taking those little bits of, organizing your time with this passion and making it work for you. So I think it's fun watching you just run, and because you motivate everyone and you kind of just got that energy to kill it, which is great. Everyone loves that. So thanks so much. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Just like you said, you're sharing other people what they're doing, and that spreads. It's like this big ripple effect of, you show a picture of, hey, I helped this person. You're not a salesperson. And I really want to encourage everyone to think about that. Like, anyone on here is a coach. Were any of you a salesperson before you signed up to be a Beachbody coach? Like, I was an engineer and then a stay-at-home mom, not a salesperson at all. Like, none of us are. I mean, we have teachers. all of us. So, I think that's something to not be scared about. Don't think that we just want you to push products on your friends and family and things like that. It's about sharing what you're doing and sharing how you're inspiring other people, and that momentum and that energy and that inspiration just builds, and people want to be part of that because you get to change some lives. It's great. So thanks so much, Lauren. Sarah, do you want to talk since you're next up on my screen? I know I'm kind of throwing this on you, but Sarah was my very first diamond. Hi, Greg. And it's about this family that we have. Sarah's a school counselor, a social worker, and she's busy, mama three. Is there anything you want to chip in and say, or do you just want to watch and listen tonight?
No, I can say a few things. I have two people I invited on to this call. I've been doing this since last April 2014, so it's been a little over a year. And many of you are busy, as Wendy said. I am, pretty busy too. Summertime, it's nice to have the summers off. I can focus a little bit more, but during the school year, it's crazy. Our schedule is crazy, but the nice thing is that like Wendy said, there's a big supportive committee of other moms and working individuals, and we kind of collaborate together to figure out what works the best. But I've been able to make it work for me on limited time. During the week, I get down to brass tacks, the things that I need to do, and I do it, and it's totally feasible, and you can see relatively good results if you do your, the things you should be doing on a daily basis with the business. But those are things you get trained on. I just want to, because a lot of people say, I don't have time, and totally understand that. There is a way. If there's a will, there's a way, and it's totally worth it. It's helped out our family a lot. It's one of the reasons we're able to move to Michigan. And Greg made it clear to me, he's like, you don't quit that Beachbody business, because that's why we're moving, because we wouldn't have the money otherwise, because we will be taking a pay cut. Greg will be taking a significant pay cut. So we're relying on this at this point, and hopefully it will continue to grow and it will become more than that. I guess that's my 2 cents with that.
Yeah, and Sarah was, another one of my customers who turned into a coach, and she tried the 21-day fix right when it first came out, and she was like, it's not for me at first. No thanks, I want nothing to do with that. And then finally she was like, okay, I'll try it. I have these last 5 pounds I just can't get rid of. I'll try it. But she wouldn't try Shakeology. And then she tried Shakeology and was like, okay, I really like this, but we really can't afford it. It's just too much. We're really specific with our budget. And then next thing you know, she signs up and makes $1,500 her first month as a coach. It was because she was ready to hand customers over to me. And I said, Sarah, come on, you can make $100, and instead of you handing people to me, why not you just sign up as a coach, and then you can always cancel if it's too much or if it's not for you. And now here you are. And, the business always has these ebbs and flows, but it's something that I really find so exciting when someone's like, no, 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 no. And then all of a sudden you come to a place of yes, of okay, maybe. And then your horizon just kind of expands about all these opportunities of what you can do for your own health and what you can do for others. And then much less Sarah, I always respect her because she bought her first house when I was still in college, and I had no idea. I probably had $5 in my name. She was buying her first house. She's very specific with her budget and responsible about all of those things. And I mean, she's been able to save so much money because of this business. And I want her to start running budgeting classes for all of us, because I know I've definitely learned something. But I mean, it's all different kinds of people. Some people want to, be able to travel the world, and other people want to have $1 million in the bank. And you can do that. You can make whatever opportunity you want. If you want to quit your job, great. If you don't because you love your job, great, right? It's your choice. So happy, yeah. Sarah signed up with me, and she wasn't easy at first, but now here she is. So now Kelly was another one of my first coaches, and we went to high school together and played volleyball. And she was always one of those fit people and always really happy. And you make I always tell my coaches, when you first start, make like your list of your dream team. Right? Sarah was on that list too. But, you know, it was like, who would you want on your dream team of your coaching? And Kelly was on it. And I reached out to her and she was like, I don't think it's for me, but maybe I'll think about it. And she became a diamond last week. And for her, I respect her so much because she is one of those outdoorsy kind of moms. Like, constantly outside with her kids, doing all of that really cool stuff, skiing in Colorado, and you know, just on and on and on, constantly doing all kind of love. So now she's a diamond and she's rocking this business. And I want you to tell us a little bit more about your journey and why you're here and why you love it. Okay, let me unmute you. There we go. Are you good now?
Hi there.
Hi,
Thank
Kelly.
you. Can you hear me? I'm sorry. I'm having major connection deals.
Yes, we can hear
me
you,
now?
so go for it.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So I love hearing everybody's stories. I mean, it's awesome because we're all so incredibly different. So it's really actually really cool for me to even to hear all of your stories because obviously Lauren, I keep following Lauren and I'm like, holy moly, like there's another coach and another coach and another coach and who's this girl? And you too, Amy. It's just so cool because I mean I see all your coaches even pop up in my downline too and I'm like, holy moly, it's crazy. So it's pretty cool. You guys are all super inspiring. But yeah, as for my story and my journey getting going, yeah, Wendy messaged me probably 1,000 times and I just, kept putting it off and putting it off. But I had just had my little girl and she was about 5 months old. And I've always been a pretty fit and healthy, especially nutrition wise. I love cooking and I love real foods and farmers markets and gardening and all that kind of stuff. So I definitely was interested in Shakeology because Wendy was always posting how it's real stuff and nothing fake or yucky and nasty in it. So it was appealing to me from the get-go. But the at-home workout thing wasn't so appealing to me until I actually tried it. My brother actually had done Insanity for like 2 years, and I always would tease him and tell him, how crazy he was for sitting in his living room and planning his day around his workouts. So, but then I went to him and was begging him to try his Insanity DVDs, and I did, and I just had not sweat that much in, gosh, years, and I had ran half marathons and hiking and biking and you name it, and Insanity just kicked my butt. And I think it was like 2 days after I tried Insanity, I went to Wendy and I said, absolutely, it's long. Insanity's like 40 minutes, and you're telling me about T25, so I'm sold. If that's what I want to get in 25 minutes, you got me. And really, the only reason I signed up as a coach was because our family was on one income. I was a stay-at-home mom, and money was always a little tight. Whenever you're on one income, so Wendy said, well, you can just make your money back, and if that's all that happens with it, then that's all that happens with it. But so that was enough for me to sign up. I already knew that some of my family members could use some help getting going and getting healthy. So those were the first people that I reached out to. My dad and my mom and my uncles and aunts, and so yeah, once I got going, it was awesome. Just reconnecting and coming out of my shell with people. I'm such an introvert. I just am a homebody. I like to be at home. Social media kind of still stresses me out, but even if I think about it in a way that, hey, this post, if this post could just inspire one person today, then it's worth it. Even though every time I post, I get nervous about it. It's kind of ridiculous, but social media totally stresses me out a little bit. I just still haven't gotten over it, which is crazy. But yeah, I love getting messages from random people saying, wow, you know, you totally inspired me. I may not ever comment on your post or like anything that you've ever posted, but you inspire me every single day, and I appreciate it. And like Lauren said, there's so much negative stuff going on out there, and if I can just brighten somebody's day, you know, and make them smile or make them get off the couch and go for a walk, you know, and get outside, that's kind of my goal. And it's just been so fun being around such positive, awesome people. And really, the dream, this is kind of funny, but my dream is to get a little pop-up camper and have me and my family take a year off, and I can do my beach body business on the road and kind of take care of the finances while we travel around to all 50 states. That's kind of my dream. So that's what I'm kind of hoping pans out for me.
You know, I love that. I'm like, oh, that would be so, I don't know how I'd do it with like 3 kids in a pop-up camper, but people can do it. I mean, in Wyoming, there's families of like 5 and 6 in these campers. Like, oh my goodness, crazy. But Kelly touched on something that I think is huge, and probably one of the things that I totally love about this business is personal development. I see my coaches coming in, and myself included.
Wendy, I can't hear you anymore. Ever since
Oh, all right. Can anyone hear me? Okay. Yes? Everyone can hear me? Okay. But since, like, you know, you come in, you have life insecurities, right? You have these fears and you have these other things that you're anxious about, and you just really don't think you can move forward. But one of our things that we like harp on and encourage all of our coaches to do is personal development. 10 to 15 minutes every day, read a book from someone. You know, you can read a book that's 100 years old, or you can, you know, read, you know, there's some really great autobiographies. There's just like my current favorite book is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. It can be a meditation. It can be on, you know, really anything, as long as it's expanding your mind, expanding your horizons. We are becoming better people as coaches when you read like that. And if you aren't growing, then how are you going to help your customers grow and become better people too? And that's probably one of my favorite parts of this is it's not just seeing my transformation and that of, you know, my customers, but of my coaches. Like, they have these spiritual transformations too, where they become stronger women, stronger mothers, bigger parts of their community, just that self-confidence, even though it was probably there before, because you do have to have a part of that to become a coach, it soars and it just, you know, basically explodes in a sense. Even if it's a slow process, it is an increase. You are becoming a healthier, happier person from the inside out, not just focusing on this outside physical, you know, mentality. And Lauren really touched on that a lot too, because, you know, if we're not improving and, you know, expanding our horizons, how are we going to do that for our customers? So that was big. And Kelly, you know, same thing. She said she's not a social media person. You don't have to be like all out there. You can be an all-in coach without just, you know, vomiting about your life constantly. What we try to do, and what I really encourage my coaches to do, is find a way to add value to the people in your life. You know, if you just post your sweaty selfies every day, well, that's great. People aren't going to want to be a part of that. But, you know, if you're doing something like, hey, here's a really great recipe that I tried, or here's a craft I'm doing with my kids, or, you know, here's a run, or, I mean, you can have a million different interests, but what interests of yours can you add value to someone else's life? And, you know, you are an expert in something, whether or not you know it. There is something that people in your life turn to you for. And that's what you can help other people with as part of this journey. We're not all the same, as you can tell. We all have these different paths, but we do have some value to add to people's lives. And that's where this is giving you a platform to do it while you're helping people become healthier and happier. So My last up diamond coach is Lauren. She's a new mom. Well, I guess she's not as new anymore because our babies are about the same age. But, she's rocking this too. And it's so, like, we met on Instagram because she had a picture of her baby and a baby Bjorn. And I was like, hey, how's that working out for you? And she was like, oh, it's fine. It's great to hold her all the time. I'm like, hey, have you ever thought about a Tula? They're really great. Like, just a random conversation about a baby carrier. And next thing you know, we're talking about our babies, and she returned her Bjorn and got this Tula. And now she's a coach of mine, and I talk to her almost every day. And it just makes me laugh about how you can meet people. And I'm actually going to meet her in person. I'm going to meet most of my coaches in person in I think like 5 weeks or something for our conference in Nashville. But you just get to meet some really cool people that you normally would otherwise just look at a picture and just keep going. So Lauren, tell us a little bit about your story. And she was like, I don't think this is for me. Same kind of thing. It seems like all my coaches kind of have that, except for Lauren Melendez, who came to me and was like, okay, I'm ready to run. I'm doing this. This is a sign. I'm going. So Lauren was like, my other Lauren was like, I just don't know. I don't want to fail. That was your big thing. Like, I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to fail. I don't want this to be something like that. I don't want to be a part of that. So it was a bigger mentality for you to get started, just a different way of looking at it. So talk to us. Talk to us about that. Oh, I'm going to unmute you. There you go. Now you're unmuted. Go for it. Rock it.
I was saying, first of all, our washing machine just overflowed into the garage and the laundry room and half the house. So that's where I just went. So that's happening. And our team is in the Stanley Cup, so he's not very pleased that he's having to deal with that. And the baby's awake, so we got a lot going on.
It's like
okay, what was I even gonna say? I guess it started when I was pregnant. I got really, really sick. I was throwing up like literally 20 times a day and night. I was miserable. I gained 60 pounds. I don't know how you gain 60 pounds when you're vomiting 20 times a day, but I did that. And I was totally uncomfortable, similar to other Lauren's story. Like afterwards, you already, when you're postpartum, sort of don't recognize your body and all these things are where they didn't used to be. But this was like above and beyond for me. And then, like Wendy said, I met her on Instagram. I think my baby was like 3 months old at this point in time. And I was planning on staying home with her. I had to stop working when I was like 6 weeks pregnant because that's when I got sick. And I was like on my feet working. So that wasn't going to happen anyway. So it's already going on like a year that I'm not working at this point. And we had decided that I was going to stay home for a year and revisit it. But every month that goes by, I'm like, oh my God, 7 months, I have to go back to work. Like, no, I don't want to. And I'm like plotting in my mind how I'm going to never go back to work and leave my kid. And I have no idea how I'm going to do it. And I have an art degree. I'm like, maybe I'll sell my art. Like I'm over here making masterpieces with my newborn baby. So that was not going to happen. And I found Wendy and I actually brought it up. She brought up the baby wearing, but I brought up Shakeology because I was nursing and I was hungry and ravenous and I felt very desperate for food that was easy and convenient and healthy. And I think that's how we started talking about that. And of course she said, like, have you ever considered doing what I do? And I said, I don't even know what you do. She started explaining it to me and I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. Why would anybody want me to be their coach? But I sort of started thinking about it because I felt very compelled. Like I kept thinking about it every day that was going by. I kept thinking about it. And people are telling me, don't do it. One of my really good friends, like, swore up and down not to do it. She used to be a discount coach for somebody for like a year and a half. Don't do it. Don't do it. And Wendy's like, don't worry. She'll be your first coach to sign up, which is funny because she actually is a coach under me now. She says she wants to work. She's not working yet, but she has like 18 different programs. So that did come true. But a lot of people told me not to do it. And it was like, I would tell Wendy, okay, I'm going to sign up today. She's like, okay, great. Here's your link. And then I'm like, somebody would tell me not to do it. And this probably happened like 3 times. And now that I'm a coach looking back, I realize I was probably really annoying. But I couldn't figure out, like how, Lauren, you said it was like a sign from the universe. I kept feeling like, is this happening because I'm supposed to do it and I'm being like challenged if I'm going to do the thing that I feel like I'm going to do and I'm going to go with my gut? Or is this happening because I'm getting these big red flags telling me not to do it? And I kind of went back and forth for a while trying to figure out which one it was. And I just kind of decided, to hell with everybody, I'm just going to do it anyway. Obviously, I'm glad I did. I guess at this point, I'm able to, I don't know, I buy our groceries a lot. I pay for all the baby stuff. Like, I don't think Jared has ever bought a diaper, so that's good. He still does all of our main things, but ideally, we want to, like, move out in the middle of nowhere and kind of did what you just did, Wendy. We want, like, a farm and stuff. And how are we ever going to do that? He's like, what are we going to do for work when we live in the middle of nowhere? I'm like, we're not. Like, that's the plan. I'm just going to do this. I can do it from anywhere. So that's the long-term goal in the future. We're not there yet, but I don't know if the in-between of the story is really important or not. I think you guys got the gist of coaching while I was sopping up the floor, but that's kind of my story.
The in-between is kind of where it's fun because you don't know where it's going to go. I mean, we're obviously all on this upward path on this team, but we all have that different, acceleration of it. And that's what's really nice about it. When you own your own business, you can say, okay, I'm going to pump the brakes a little bit. I just had a baby, or we're going to move. Like, Sarah's moving, and she was like, Wendy, I'm struggling a little bit. And I said, okay, then pare it down. Can you make an hour a day for your business? Here she is, a really successful coach with a lot of customers and other coaches underneath her. And she was like, you're right. That's what got me here. I can go back to my hour, go back to my basics. And do I still feel like I should be doing more? Of course. But your business doesn't just fall apart if you don't spend more than an hour on it a day. And, you can do a lot of different things with your time in between. And, Lauren has a really hilarious little girl that I just adore because she's like, personality overdrive. If you ever look at any of her pictures, you can totally tell, but she's always like, Raina is giving me no time to work this business ever. I'm like, okay, well, there you go. And as a mom, I'm like, throw her on your back in your carrier and type some messages out. Like, you can figure it out. You can be outside. Kelly does a lot of her stuff while she's, outside, and photos, and Amy will jump on while she's at work. Lauren's like, okay, I'm doing something while I'm on my headset with you, but no one's supposed to know. And I'm like, that's fine. No, I won't tell. So, you just make it work with your life, and you can start as a discount coach, or you can start off running. And, I run with people who want to run. If you want to be a discount coach, I don't bother you. They all joked, like, I messaged them 1,000 times. I hope I wasn't that annoying, but, it's more like, when someone's there and they're excited and I can see it, I'm the last one who's going to give up on you. And I think all of us coaches kind of have that mentality. You figure it out. Like, the people, the customers and the coaches that that it's inside of them, it's just supporting that. It's supporting that dream, supporting that, like, energy inside them that they have the potential to be so much more, and they just haven't seen it yet. And that's what I find so exciting. It's like mentoring my coaches and my customers to, like, hey, sky's the limit. Why not? Why not dream big? Why not make it more than just your 9 to 5, your daily grind? And, and then what? You retire at 70, 75 now, and then what do you do? Like, make it exciting. Make it where you love your life. And, that's why I love this so much. So I know I'm just like ranting because it's not always perfect. Some days I'm like, oh my gosh, I have 3 kids under 5 and the house is a mess. But it's still exciting to wake up and get my workout done, get that sweat in, and be like, okay, it's a new day. Here we go. And that's why, I love doing this and I love sharing about it. But does anyone have any questions, or does anyone else want to add anything? I'm so thankful for all of you to get on and just be a part of this. I really love my team so much.
I think if there's anything else to say, like, one of the reasons I decided to go ahead and sign up as a coach, like, I wasn't a discount coach. I didn't do the programs first. I signed up. I waited for the challenge group to start, and I started posting right away, which I think a lot of people don't start that way. But I thought, this is a way to hold myself accountable. I don't want to spend $180 on my challenge pack and then in a couple weeks burn out or get too busy, or Raina's being needy, which is every day of my life, and stop doing it. Like, if I'm a coach and there's other people who are looking up to me, or I'm trying to build a business, this is going to motivate me. This is going to get me to do it on the days I don't want to do it. So as much as I'm helping other people, I think those other people are helping me, because if it's a random Wednesday and maybe you don't want to get up and work out, but you're like, this is good for my business, or the people in my challenge group are looking up to me, or whatever, you have a whole new set of reasons to do it other than I want to lose my baby weight. And I think that's something I try to point out to people when I talk to them about coaching, and I think that's actually the reason why some people are scared to coach, because they know it's that extra thing that's going to make them have to do it, and some people don't want to have to do it. But for me, that has made me way more motivated to stick to my goals.
Yeah, you're accountable. Your customers hold you accountable, which is kind of nice, because I mean, at the end of the day, it is self-drive. It's an at-home workout. But what's nice when you have this other community, be like, hey, I'm having a really rough day, or that candy jar at work looks really appetizing, and you can just message someone, like, you can message your group and say, I really want to grab that, or I really don't want to work out today. And you have, 5-10 people being like, hey, you can do it. You'll feel better. Meanwhile, you wouldn't get that if you were working out at a gym somewhere else, or if you weren't a coach, you could kind of just disappear. So good point. I like that point. Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, I'll stop recording and, we can save this and share it. And okay, we good?